Welcome to the Ultimate Sports Podcast. Today is Friday, October 25th, 2019. Today I'm going to recap yesterday's Thursday night football game between the Vikings and the Redskins, college football game from yesterday between Houston and SMU, NBA and NHL picks for the weekend in both college football and in the NFL, and my best bet of the day. Okay, Thursday night football, it was a boring game. Vikings came out on top by a score of 19-9. My big takeaway from this game is that the Vikings really missed Adam Thielen. They got away with the win because they played a bad team, and Kirk Cousins beats up on bad teams. We know that Kirk Cousins wasn't all that great. Didn't convert on a couple of red zone opportunities, which led to threes rather than sevens. But other than that, he gets the win, most importantly, as the Vikings go to 6-2, and the Redskins drop to 1-7. Cousins, 23 of 26, 285 yards. Case Keenum, 12 of 16, 130 yards. So it was a kind of boring game, and it looked like the Vikings were going to blow them open, but Stephon Diggs fumbles on the first drive, and then the Redskins get the ball back, and then Keenum fumbles. Meanwhile, Keenum got a concussion, so he left the game at halftime. So Dwayne Haskins came in the game, 3 for 5, 33 yards and an interception. So not a pretty outing for the rookie quarterback either. Next up for the Redskins, do they have a bye? Let's see. They have the Bills at Buffalo. Meanwhile, Minnesota next up has a primetime date with the Dallas Cowboys, I believe, after a bye. Let's see if I'm right about that. Oh, no, they're at the Chiefs and at the Cowboys. I forgot about that Chiefs game in there. So, they had the Chiefs, then the Cowboys, and then the Broncos. And those two Chief-Bronco games are on the road. So, tough ask for the Vikings to go into those places and win, especially if Patrick Mahomes is back for the Chiefs in that game. SMU defeated Houston 34-31 as the 16th ranked team in the country goes to 8-0. Houston drops to 3-5. I give credit to Houston for being competitive in this game. So I'm off to a 1-0 start in terms of straight up and against the spread for college football. Shane Buechele, the ex-Texas quarterback, 20 of 38, 203 yards, 2 touchdowns, and the pick. And then the new Houston quarterback, Clayton Tune, 18 of 33, 407 yards, 2 touchdowns, and a pick. But that was skewed because he had that 75-yard touchdown pass during the game. So that number is a little skewed. NBA last night, there were 3 games on the slate. 2 of them were on national television. But the one that was not on national television was the Hawks and the Pistons, as the Hawks came out on top by a score of 117-100. A very impressive win for Atlanta. They're 1-0. Detroit's 1-1. Detroit was on the second of a back-to-back. Trae Young had 38 points, 9 assists, and 7 rebounds. John Collins had 18 and 10. DeAndre Hunter in his first game had 14. Off the bench, Jabari Parker had 18. Meanwhile, in Detroit, Andre Drummond had 21 and 12. Derrick Rose had 27 off the bench. And Luke Kennard had 13 off the bench. Bucks over the Rockets, 117-111. Giannis fouled out in the middle of the fourth quarter in this game, and they found the way to win this game. So they're 1-0. Rockets 0-1. This is a really bad loss for Houston, considering that Giannis fouled out in this game. Meanwhile, Giannis had 30, 13, 11, so a triple-double for him. Chris Middleton, Brook Lopez, and Eric Bledsoe each had 11. Wesley Matthews had 14 off the bench. Ersan Ilyasova had 13. And Pat Connaughton had 10. Meanwhile, for Houston, James Harden, 14 assists and 7 rebounds. Russell Westbrook in his first game with the Rockets, 24 points and 16 rebounds. Clint Capella had 13 and 12. PJ Tucker had 17 with 7 boards. Tyson Chandler had 10 off the bench, and Eric Gordon had 11 off the bench. Clippers over the Warriors, 141-122, an impressive win for Golden State. For the Clippers, my bad. As they go to 2-0, Golden State drops to 0-1. Lou Williams had 22 off the bench for the Clippers. Patrick Patterson had 20, so he had a better game in this game than he did in the opener. Kawhi Leonard had 21 with 9 assists. Ivica Zubac had 16 points and 10 boards. Landry Shamet had 11 off the bench. Montrezl Harrell had 18. Mo Harkless had 10 for Golden State. Stephen Curry had 23. D'Angelo Russell had 20 with 8 assists in his first Golden State game. Glenn Robinson III had 13. Draymond had 11. Off the bench, Jacob Evans and Eric Pascal each had 14. Tonight's slate, only a few games. Actually, no. It's more than a few, I should say. Let's see. 9 games tonight. 7 o'clock, Raptors, Celtics. Celtics home opener. Timberwolves, Hornets. Let's see if the Hornets can surprise us and go to 2-0 in the year. 7:30, Knicks, Nets. Both those teams at 0-1. Knicks were surprisingly decent in their first game, even though it was in defeat. And Kyrie's coming off this 50-point game. 8 o'clock, Wizards, Thunder. Bulls, Grizzlies. 8 o'clock, ESPN, Mavericks, Pelicans. 9 o'clock, Suns, Nuggets. And the Suns don't have DeAndre Ayton for 25 games due to a drug suspension, so that hurts his development. 10 o'clock, the Trailblazers at the Kings. And 10:30, the Jazz at the Lakers. And by the way, the Kings don't have Marvin Bagley for 4 to 6 weeks with a broken finger, so that's a huge loss for that team. In terms of the ESPN games, Mike Breen, Jeff Van Gundy on the call. The first one, New Orleans would have been the easy pick if Zion Williamson was playing. But I really don't think the Mavericks have the depth. I feel like they're a two-man team. Even though the Pelicans don't have Zion, that's still a nice roster. They're competitive with the... And I think that they're going to go out there and perform very well in front of their home fans, and they get the win. I won't be shocked if they win by double digits, but I think it's a competitive game. I think that Luka and Porzingis will keep them in it. So I'm going to say that the Pelicans win 115-106 in their home opener. And at 10:30, the Jazz at the Lakers on ESPN. Ryan Rucco, Mark Jackson on the call. This should be a fun game. 2 Western Conference contenders going at it. I'm going to take the Lakers here. I think it's a situational bounce-back spot for them. Normally, it's always smart to take in gambling a team after a loss and the team coming off a win. I feel like you see that here. You're only giving 3.5. I think the Lakers win by more than that. I think this game's going to be competitive. I think that Donovan Mitchell's going to have a big night. Gobert will have a big night inside. He'll have that matchup win. And so will Mitchell, but I don't think that'll be enough. Especially if actually Davis plays some center, but he'll play power forward. So give me the Lakers here in their home opener. I think the perimeter shooting will be better. I'm going to say they win 120-113. Free throws at the end of the game by LeBron and company seal it up as they get their first win of the season. And in terms of the best gambling play, I'm going to take as my play of the night. And by the way, I got my first win of the night, so I'm up to 1-3 in terms of NBA gambling. The game I like, I'm going to take the Celtics minus the 2.5 at home against the Raptors. Raptors coming off an emotional overtime win. Celtics coming off the bad loss in Philly. So it's another situational play. So give me the Boston Celtics owning the 2.5. I think they win this game potentially by double digits in their home opener. So that's my favorite NBA play tonight. The Celtics giving 2.5 at home against your reigning champion Toronto Raptors. And for the rest of the weekend, NBA slate, 5 o'clock NBA TV, Heat Bucks, 7 o'clock 76ers Pistons, 7:30 NBA TV, Celtics Knicks. That's the Knicks home opener. So that'd be a situational spot to play the Knicks because it's their home opener. Celtics probably are coming off a win at that point. So assuming the Celtics are coming off a win there against the Raptors, I think it's an bet on the Knicks, even though they're on the second of a back-to-back as well after that Nets game. But it all depends on how they do against Brooklyn tonight and how Boston does against Toronto tonight. You have the Magic at the Hawks. That should be an interesting game. The Pelicans at the Rockets at 8 o'clock. Raptors Bulls. Pacers Cavaliers. 8:30 Wizards Spurs. 9 o'clock Kings Jazz. And 10 o'clock NBA TV Clippers Suns. So, in terms of situational betting, I think the Knicks are a good opportunity, assuming that they lose tonight at Brooklyn and the Celtics win tonight against Toronto. And then the other situational spot I like, Pelicans probably will win their home opener, and then the Rockets situational bounce back spot after losing that tough game to Milwaukee yesterday. So I would certainly bet the Knicks on Saturday and the Rockets on Saturday against the spread. And then Sunday, short slate. It's because of the NFL, so they didn't post many games at all. 3:30, you have the Warriors at the Thunder. That'd be a nice spot to play Oklahoma City, unless you believe in the bounce back theory for Golden State, but that Golden State team looks so bad. We'll see how the Thunder do on Friday night, or tonight, I should say. Nets at the Grizzlies. That depends on how the Nets do against the Knicks tonight. Heat Timberwolves. Don't have a strong feel there. Trailblazers Mavericks. See how Portland does against the Kings. And then 9:30, the Hornets at the Lakers. It definitely depends on how the Lakers do in their home opener tonight against the Jazz. I think Lakers are somewhat of an auto bet there regardless, because Charlotte's bad, Lakers are good, and Charlotte needs some reality tasting after beating a overrated Eastern Conference team in the Bulls, a team that I think is overrated coming into the season, and an overrated Timberwolves team that I wouldn't rule out Charlotte winning again tonight, so we'll see. NHL. Big slate last night, and you got a nice slate tonight. Rangers over the Sabres 6-2. A huge win for the New York Rangers. A much-needed win for them. 3-4-1 on the year, so they're a win away from getting back within 500. Buffalo's 8-2-1. Carter Hutton finally regressed in a game after a hot start. Number 1 started the game with 2 goals and no assists, Ryan Strome. Number 2 started the game with a goal and assist, Brett Howden. Number 3 started the game with a goal and assist, Tony DeAngelo. The Sharks defeat the Canadiens 4-2, a nice win for San Jose. They're 4-5-1. Montreal's 4-4-2. Number 1 started the game with 2 goals and an assist, Evander Kane. Number 2 started the game with 3 assists, Thomas Hertl. Number 3 started the game with a goal, Nick Cousins. The Islanders defeat the Coyotes 4-2. A great win for the Islanders. That's 5 straight wins. Number 1 started the game with a goal and assist, Josh Bailey. Number 2 started the game with a goal, Anders Lee. Number 3 started the game with 2 assists, Brock Nelson. Blue Jackets over the Hurricanes 4-3 in overtime. A nice win for Columbus. They've been surprisingly decent so far. 5-3-2. Carolina 6-3-2. Number 1 started the game with a goal and assist, Ryan Murray. Number 2 started the game with a goal, Cam Atkinson. Number 3 started the game with 2 assists, David Savard. Blues over the Kings 5-2, so the Kings finally get some reality taste in their mouths. St. Louis was 5-2-3. LA's 4-6. Number 1 started the game with a goal, Robert Thomas. Number 2 started the game with a goal, Alex Pietrangelo. Number 3 started the game with 2 goals, Braden Shen. Predators over the Wild 4-0. A nice win for Nashville. They are 6-3-1. And Minnesota's 3-7. Number 1 started the game with 26 saves on 26 shots, Pekka Rinne. Number 2 started the game with the goal, Mika Salamaki. Number 3 started the game with the goal, Kalle Jarnkrok. The Flyers defeat the Blackhawks 4-1. A good win for Philly. 4-3-1. Chicago's 2-4-2. Number 1 started the game with a goal, Claude Giroux. Number 2 started the game with a goal, Kevin Hayes. Number 3 started the game with 23 saves on 24 shots, Brian Elliott. The Stars defeat the Ducks 2-1. A much-needed win for Dallas. They are now 4-7-1. Anaheim 6-5. Number 1 started the game with 2 goals, Denis Gurinov. Number 2 started the game with an assist, Andrew Cogliano. Number 3 started the game with 27 saves on 29 shots, John Gibson. Flames over the Panthers 6-5 in a shootout. The Flames are 6-5-1. Florida's 4-2-4. Number 1 started the game with a goal and assist, Mark Giordano. Number 2 started the game with 2 goals, Matthew Tkachuk. Number 3 started the game with 4 assists, Alexander Barkov. Oilers over the Capitals 4-3 in overtime. A nice come-from-behind win for Edmonton. They're 8-1. Washington 7-2-3. So Washington's had 2 brutal losses with blown leads so far this season. One against the Oilers, then the other against Nashville. Number 1 started the game with 2 goals and an assist, Leon Draisaitl. Number 2 started the game with a goal and 2 assists, Connor McDavid. Number 3 started the game with 2 goals, Alexander Ovechkin. Tonight's slate, 6 o'clock, Avalanche Golden Knights. That's a really fun game. And it's interesting that Vegas is having a matinee game on a Friday. I think that's really strange. 7 o'clock, Sharks Maple Leafs, Coyotes Devils. 7:30, Islanders Senators, Sabres Red Wings. 10 o'clock, Capitals Canucks. In terms of gambling situational spots, I think that the Senators are a good situational spot here. And I think the Sabres are a nice bounce-back play against the reeling Red Wings. And then situational spot, wouldn't rule out the Devils tonight at home against the Coyotes. Devils are actually favored in that game. But you could argue Coyotes bounce-back spot as well. The Sharks are rolling, so you could argue Toronto's a situational spot. And then Avalanche Golden Knights, I think, is a toss-up, even though the line suggests it's not. And then Capitals Canucks. Capitals, either you play them as a situational bounce-back spot or go against them because they're on the second of a back-to-back. And that's why going with the Devils makes a lot of sense. The Senators, even the Red Wings for that matter, but I like Buffalo anyway. Maple Leafs. So there's a lot of teams on the second of back-to-backs in terms of gambling that I would take a chance on playing against or playing for if you think that they can rebound from a loss. Now we're going to do picks. We're going to start with college football. All lines and totals are courtesy of DraftKings. We're going to start with tonight, USC at Colorado. USC's laying 11, the over-under 64.5. I'm going to take the Buffaloes to cover this 11-point spread. USC is winless on the road this year, so it's obvious that they're a much better team at home than road. So give me Colorado, giving 11. Do I think they'll win the game outright? No, but I think it'll be competitive throughout, and USC wins by 8. Saturday, you have Liberty at Rutgers. Liberty is a 7-point favorite. The over-under is 44. Give me Liberty minus the 7. I just think that they're easily a better team than Rutgers. They have the coaching advantage. I feel like they have a bunch of advantages in this game. And Rutgers looks like a team that's just done and looking forward to hiring a new coach. So give me Liberty minus the 7 at High Point Solution Stadium in Piscataway. So I like Liberty by double digits in that game. A much more entertaining game, Wisconsin at Ohio State. Ohio State's laying 14.5. The over-under is 49.5. Give me the Buckeyes laying the points. I think that they are easily the better team. I know everyone and their brother likes Wisconsin this week, getting the points, but in terms of a situational bounce back, but I just think that they're frauds a little bit, and they'll show this week. So give me Ohio State minus the points. I think they win this one, let's say in the 30-10 range. Iowa at Northwestern. Iowa's laying 9.5. The over-under is 37.5. Give me Northwestern in the points. I think that Pat Fitzgerald's team finally shows up for a game. Iowa, to me, is not the best favorite in the world. They're better as an underdog. So give me Northwestern the points. And I think there's a chance that they win this game outright, but I don't have the balls to pick it. I'm going to say Iowa wins, Northwestern covers 9.5. Oklahoma at Kansas State. Oklahoma's laying 24. The over-under is 59. Give me the under in this one. Oklahoma is an improved defensive team. Kansas State's not bad defensively either. I just think that this could be like a blog game for Oklahoma after lighting up West Virginia last week. So, give me the under in this game, and I'm going to say that Oklahoma wins by a score of like 37-20, and that would barely mean under. Illinois, Purdue. Purdue's laying 9.5. The over-under is 58.5. I love Purdue laying the 9.5. They are easily the better team here. They're a team that is starting to play a little bit better. They were competitive with Iowa last week. They killed Maryland, and I think they'll kill Illinois. And Illinois, obviously, this screams letdown after the upset win. This is one of my best 5 plays of the entire weekend, so give me Purdue minus the 9.5. Mississippi State at Texas A&M. A&M's laying 10.5. The over-under is 50.5. Give me the over here. I think both teams will score a lot of points, especially Texas A&M. I think that Mississippi State is a team in turmoil with their head coach looking to bounce potentially. So there's the argument to be made for minus 10.5. But I like the over more, and I think this game could be like a 37-23 type of ball game. South Alabama hosts Appalachian State. App State's minus 26.5. The over-under is 53. I'm laying the wood with App State here. They're just a better team than South Alabama. They've been crushing everybody. They're my front runner right now to get a New Year's Six Bowl. Although SMU's certainly in the conversation, but I think there'll be an L coming for them sooner rather than later. I don't know where, but I think there's a better chance they lose than Appalachian State loses. So give me App State minus the 26.5. Miami at Pitt. Pitt's laying 5. The over-under is 43. Give me Pitt minus the 5. They're just a much better team right now than Miami. Miami just lost to Georgia Tech, for crying out loud. So give me Pitt minus the 5. I think that's easy. San Jose State at Army. Army's laying 10. The over-under is 53.5. I'm bouncing on the Army train. I think they win finally and cover. This is a situational bounce back after a couple straight losses. So give me Army minus 10. Bowling Green at Western Michigan. Western Michigan's laying 27.5. The over-under 63.5. Give me the over in this game. I think that both of these teams are going to score a lot of points. The MAC is a conference where defense seems like it's unnecessary, unless if you're a couple other teams that actually do play defense. But I like the over here. I think this is a 40-30 type of ball game. And I think Western obviously wins. Next up, you have Southern Miss at Rice. Southern Miss is laying 10. The over-under is 51. Give me Southern Miss minus the 10. I just think Rice is terrible since Southern Miss is good. It's just as simple as that. Next up, you have Nevada at Wyoming. Wyoming's laying 14. The over-under is 43.5. Give me the under here. Wyoming unders have been a popular trend this season. And I think this is a low-scoring game. Nevada's offense has been absolutely disappointing this year, in my opinion. So give me the under 43.5. I feel like this is a 27-13 type of game. Ohio at Ball State. Ball State's laying 2.5. The over-under is in the process of changing. It's at 61.5. By the way, I think Wyoming wins on the field against Nevada. Give me Ball State minus the 2.5. Action, baby. Ball State looks like your favorite in the West right now. And I think they'll get it done at home against a good Ohio team. So give me Ball State minus the 2.5. Western Kentucky at Marshall. Marshall's laying 5. The over-under is 45. Give me Western Kentucky getting the points. Do I think they win the game outright? Do I think they win the game outright? No, but I just think it's a close game between these two teams. I think it's a 3-point game. I'm going to say that Marshall ends up winning. New Mexico State at Georgia Southern. Georgia Southern's laying 14. The over-under is 55. Now we're in the 3 o'clock window. I'm going to take the under here. Georgia Southern unders have been popular lately, although New Mexico State overs are like a reputation kind of play. So give me the under in this game. And I think Georgia Southern can win this game like 30-17 or something like that. 3:30 Auburn at LSU. LSU's laying 10.5. The over-under is 59.5. This is tough for me. There's a lot of ways I can go here. I'm going to take the over. I think that these offenses are very good, especially LSU's. Auburn's defense and LSU's defense are both very good. But I just think that Joe Burrow really wants to put on a show for the Heisman voters. And they have Alabama coming up in a couple weeks, so even though that's the case, that's the argument for taking Auburn or the under. But I like the over here. I think this is a high-scoring type of game. I think LSU wins this 38-27 or something like that. I believe that will be an over. Penn State at Michigan State. Penn State's laying 5.5. The over-under is 43.5. Give me Penn State minus the points. Everyone and their brother loves Michigan State this week, but Michigan State has bit me in the ass all season long. And betting against Penn State has hurt me as well. So give me Penn State minus 5.5. I think they win this game by 2 touchdowns. Texas at TCU. TCU's laying 1. The over-under is 56.5. This is so tough. I mean, very, very tough. Texas was favored yesterday, and now it went back to TCU minus 1. I'm going to take TCU. I know I bet on Texas already, but I changed my mind. I think that's a loser. So I'm going to stick with my guns and ride TCU. They're giving 1, and whatever the line's weird, you just have to take the side that is not that obvious. I learned my lesson a few weeks ago with Virginia and Miami. When Miami was giving 3, I thought it was easy that Virginia was the side, but I was wrong. I don't want that hurting me again. So give me TCU minus 1, and they get a signature upset win. Oklahoma State at Iowa State. Iowa State's laying 10.5. The over-under 63.5. I'm going to take the under 63.5. Iowa State's a very good defensive team, and Oklahoma State's offense has kind of not been what we thought. So I'm going to say Iowa State wins like a 30-20 type of game. Maryland at Minnesota. Minnesota's laying a whopping 16.5. The over-under is 58. Give me the over here. I think these are 2 good offenses. They're going to score and score and score. I could see Minnesota winning this game like 38-30 or something like that. Virginia at Louisville. Louisville's getting 3.5. The over-under is 52. I'm taking Louisville not only to cover the 3.5. I think they win the game outright. They're plus 133 on the money line. I know a lot of people like Virginia in this spot, but this just feels very trappy to me. And I think that Louisville is a team that really has turned it around from last year to this year with their new coach. This is a team that's probably going to be a bowl team. So give me Louisville plus the 3.5 to win this game outright. Next up, you have Tulane at Navy. Navy's laying 3.5. The over-under is 58. Give me the over here. I think these teams are going to score a lot. Wouldn't be surprised if it went into the 40s. I'm going to say this is like a 41-37 type of game. And I like Navy to win. Arizona at Stanford. Stanford's laying 2. The over-under is 51.5. Arizona was actually favored in this game a couple days ago. Now Stanford has the minus next to them, so it looks like KJ Costello will play. But in terms of a play here, I'm going to take the under 51.5. I don't think either of these teams are going to score a lot. And Stanford's a good defensive team too. So give me the under, and I think Stanford wins like 27-20 or something like that. Indiana at Nebraska. Nebraska's laying 2.5. The over under 52. I'm taking the over here. I think this is a shootout. It's funny. Indiana was actually giving, and now Nebraska's giving. So it looks like Adrian Martinez is playing. So quarterback injuries tend to move the lines in college football. So give me the over in this game. I think these two teams are going to score a lot. I'm going to say that Nebraska wins like 35-31. FAU at Old Dominion. FAU's like 13.5. The over-under is 50.5. Give me FAU in the points. They're better than Old Dominion. Betting against the bad teams from the Conference USA have really done me some wonders this year. So give me FAU minus 13.5. Eastern Michigan at Toledo. Toledo's giving 3. The over-under is 57. Give me Toledo minus a 3. Good opportunity here to get a big win, as Eastern Michigan, I think, is facing a little bit of a letdown after their upset win. Miami of Ohio at Kent State. Kent's laying 2.5. The over-under is 56. Give me Kent State minus a 2.5. They're actually the first place team in the MAC East right now. And I think that continues here. So give me Kent State minus the 2.5. Akron at Northern Illinois. Northern's laying 23. The over-under is 44. 23 is too many points. Give me Akron to cover here. I think that Northern's not a great team, but I don't think they're horrible either. But I just don't think that line should be that big. Let's give me Akron plus the 23. I'm going to say Northern wins like 30-16 or something like that. Low scoring game. Central Michigan at Buffalo. Buffalo's giving 2.5. The over-under is 48.5. Give me Buffalo in the points. I know I'm going to get bit in the ass by one of these home favorites in the MAC. I just don't know who. But I like Buffalo giving the 2.5. And I'm going to say that they end up getting the win. And won't be surprised if it's by double digits. Syracuse at Florida State. Florida State's giving 10.5. The over-under is 59.5. Give me Florida State minus the points. This is just an easy one. Tommy DeVito's been bad this year. Syracuse has been disappointing. Meanwhile, Florida State, I'm really liking this spot for them. I see them winning big here. It's one of my best 5 plays of the weekend. So give me Florida State minus the 10.5. FIU at Middle Tennessee. FIU's laying 2.5. The over-under is 57.5. Give me the under here, 57.5. I'm going to say Middle Tennessee wins, but I don't feel so strongly about that. But I do feel strongly about the under. I'm going to say that this is a Middle Tennessee win, like a 27-20 type of game. And neither of these offenses have really been all that impressive to me. UConn at UMass. UConn's laying 10. The over-under is 61.5. UMass getting 10 against the worst team in the AAC feels like a steal. I remember Akron, UMass, and Akron was giving, and I took Akron, and then UMass went outright. I think UMass wins outright again. They're plus 285 on the money line. I think that UConn stinks, and Randy Edsall's probably going to be fired at the end of the season. So give me UMass plus 10. I think they win the game outright. And I was going to play that as one of my best plays, but I didn't have the balls to do it. So give me UMass plus 10. North Texas at Charlotte. North Texas is giving 3.5. The over-under 64.5. Give me North Texas minus the 3.5. They're the better team. And Charlotte's a nice little team. They got some buzz early with their good offensive play. But I just think that North Texas' offense, led by Mason Fine, will get the job done. I think they win this by double digits. South Florida and East Carolina. South Florida's giving 2.5. The over-under is 51.5. Give me East Carolina getting the 2. I think they win the game outright. They're minus 103 on the money line. They were favored earlier in the week. I think they win the game on the field, a game that they have to have, or else they won't. Give get into a bowl. I think the winner of this game probably gets a bowl game. I'm going to say that's East Carolina. That's a 3:45 game. 4 o'clock, Duke at North Carolina. North Carolina's laying 3.5. The over-under is 53. Give me Duke getting 3.5. I think they win the game outright. They're the better team. North Carolina people think they're this good team because they upset Miami and South Carolina to open the season. So, give me Duke getting the 3.5. I think they win outright. They're plus 133 on the money line. And that's one of my best 5 plays of the weekend. South Carolina at Tennessee. South Carolina's giving 4.5. The over-under is 47.5. Give me Tennessee getting the points. I think Tennessee wins outright. They're plus 155 on the money line. I just think that South Carolina's a little overvalued because they upset Georgia. So give me Tennessee getting the points. I think they win the game on the field. Hawaii at New Mexico. New Mexico is getting 9.5. The over-under 70.5. This is tough. Like a really tough play. I'm going to lay the 9.5 of Hawaii. I'm not so strong about it because I don't love Hawaii on the road. But Hawaii beat Nevada pretty good on the road. And Nevada's better than New Mexico. So therefore, Hawaii should beat New Mexico by double digits. So give me Hawaii big. And I mean big, 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 big. Arkansas at Alabama. Alabama's laying 32. The over-under is 55.5. No Tua Tagovailoa. I'll give you the under here. I think that Alabama's going to be a little conservative here. They should win still, obviously. And I don't know if they'll cover. But I could see Bama winning this game like 40-10. So that would obviously qualify as an under. I feel very good about the under here. Now we're in the 7 o'clock window. I should have mentioned that when we were at the last game, the Alabama game. But Texas Tech at Kansas. Tech's laying 4.5. The over-under 64.5. Give me Texas Tech minus 4.5. This is my favorite play of the whole weekend. I don't get the Kansas respect at all. I played West Virginia at this same spot after Kansas won at Boston College. And obviously after the come so close, so people like Kansas now all of a sudden. So give me Texas Tech minus the 4.5, and I think they win this game by double digits. And like I said, it's one of my best 5 plays of the weekend. UCF at Temple. Temple's getting 10, the over-under 61. Give me Temple plus the 10. I think that Temple's actually going to win the game outright. They're plus 260 on the money line, and this is one of my best plays of the weekend as well. So give me Temple plus 10 as my 5th and final best of the weekend in terms of college football. And like I said, I think Temple wins outright. I think UCF's overrated. Memphis at Tulsa. Memphis is giving 11. The over-under is 58.5. Give me the over here. I think both of these teams are going to score. And I like both these offenses. I could see this being like a 42-31 type of game. I think Tulsa hangs around in their own building. But ultimately, Memphis gets the win, and I like the over here. Troy at Georgia State. Troy's getting 2. The over-under is 66.5. Give me Troy plus the 2. I think Troy wins outright. They are plus 106 on the money line. Georgia State's been a good team this year, but I think they're due to get picked off. So give me Troy here getting the 2 to get themselves a big win. Texas State at Arkansas State. Arkansas State's laying 11.5. The over-under is 59. Give me Arkansas State minus the 11.5. This is my last stand for them in terms of gambling. They've been very disappointing to me lately. But they should be able to beat Texas State by more than 11.5 points. 7:30 Notre Dame at Michigan. Notre Dame's laying 1. The over-under is 50.5. Give me Michigan plus the points. And I think that Michigan will win the game. They're minus 106 on the money line. Michigan was favored to open the week. Now the money came in on Notre Dame. Now Notre Dame's a favorite. But I like Michigan. They play better at home than they do on the road in these types of situations. And I think that Jim Harbaugh will finally get a big win. And this would probably be the biggest win he's had, or the nicest win he's had as Michigan head coach. But it's unfortunate that they already have 2 losses and that they're like out of playoff contention already. But If they get this game, they're still in the New Year's Six contention. So give me Michigan getting the point, and I'm going to say they win a good game, like 24-20. Boston College at Clemson. Clemson's laying 34.5. The over-under is 59. Give me Clemson minus the points. They look like a team that's on a roll right now. Boston College lost its quarterback, and they're coming off a win. So why not take Clemson? Missouri at Kentucky. Missouri's laying 10.5. The over-under is 44. Give me Missouri minus the 10.5. Bounce back spot after the loss to Vanderbilt. Kentucky doesn't have its starting quarterback, so give me Missouri minus the 10.5. Arizona State at UCLA. Arizona State's giving 3. The over-under is 55.5. Give me Arizona State minus the 3. This is a good spot for them to get right here. I think UCLA is overvalued, coming off the big win over Stanford, so give me Arizona State minus the 3. Colorado State at Fresno State. Fresno State's giving 14.5. The over-under is 56. Give me Fresno State minus the points. They're starting to get it together a little bit. They just killed UNLV. I think they'll kill Colorado State as well. 8 o'clock, Louisiana Tech at UTEP. Tech's laying 20.5. The over-under is 50.5. Give me the under. UTEP unders have been a nice little trend. La Tech's not a bad defensive team. I think La Tech wins this game like 33-13 or something like that. 10 o'clock, Cal at Utah. Utah's laying 21. The over-under is 37. Give me the under. This game's going to be ugly, and I think Utah gets the win. I'm going to say they win this game like 24-10 or something like that. 10:15, Utah State Air Force. Air Force is like 3.5. The over-under is 50.5. Air Force is on a roll, so give me Air Force minus the 3.5. They're a sneaky candidate to win the conference, so this would be a nice spot for them to show people that they're for real. So give me Air Force minus the 3.5. 10:30, Washington State at Oregon. Oregon's laying 14. The over-under 66. Give me Wazoo plus 14. Wazoo's been a cover machine against Oregon. That continues, although Oregon will get the win. I'm going to say Oregon wins this game like 45-40. Which would be a fun Pac-12 after dark, and I think that game's on ESPN as well. San Diego State at UNLV. San Diego State's laying 13. The over-under is 45. Another popular trend is San Diego State unders, and I think I'm going to jump on this one as well. I'm going to say San Diego State wins this game by a score of 26-13 or something like that. They're a good defensive team, and they're a team that really knows how to win in spots like this when they're not expected to lose. So give me San Diego State to win, but I like the under here. Now we'll switch over to the NFL side. I am 1-0 straight up, 0-1 against the spread. We're with totals. We're going to start with the Eagles at the Bills, 1 o'clock. I believe this game's on Fox. Philadelphia's coming off the bad loss to the Cowboys. Buffalo is coming off a win over the Dolphins, and they looked vulnerable in that game. And I'm going to take the Eagles getting 2. I think they win the game outright. They're plus 110 on the money line. I think Philly wins this game 23-20. Late field goal by Jake Elliott gets it done. Bengals at the Rams from London. Rams are laying 12.5. The over-under is 47.5. Cincy coming off a bad loss to keep themselves winless against the Jacksonville Jaguars. Rams coming off a big, much-needed win at Atlanta against the Falcons. I think this is another big spot here for the Rams. I think they'll cover the 12.5, although the case against it is that Sean McVay is going to take it easy on his ex-coworker, I think his name is Zach Taylor. Zach Taylor, that's his name. So give me the Rams minus the 12.5. I'm going to say that they win this game 38-16. Arizona Cardinals at the New Orleans Saints. Saints are giving 10. The over-under is 48. There's rumors that Drew Brees might be back for this game. So that's something to keep an eye out for. Cardinals coming off the big win at MetLife against the Giants. Saints coming off the big win at Chicago against the Bears. I like the over here. It's at 48. especially if Breeze is back. I love the over. I think that Kyler can get some garbage time touchdowns. I'm going to say that New Orleans wins this game 31-20. Giants at the Lions. The Giants are getting 6.5. The over-under is 49. Giants coming off that terrible loss against the Cardinals. Detroit coming off the loss against the Vikings. I think that this game is going to be competitive. I think it'll be back and forth. Neither of these defenses are that good. I think both these teams are fraudulent. And I'm going to say the Lions get a 27-24 victory in terms of a play. I'm going to take New York getting the 6.5. I just think that this is a closer game than the number suggests. So Giants plus 6.5. I think the Lions win 27-24. I'm going to say the Giants are driving late to try to at least tie the game with a field goal, and their defense comes up with a big stop. Chargers at the Bears. The Bears are giving 3.5. The over-under is 41. Chargers coming off that brutal loss against the Titans. Bears coming off that terrible home loss against the Saints. This was tough for me here. I'm going to say the Bears win 24-23 in terms of a play. I'm going to take the Chargers getting the 3 in the hook. I just think that the Chargers lose another heartbreakers because that's just a typical Chargers losing by the skin of their teeth. Bears get a much-needed victory to get themselves back over 500. Seahawks at the Falcons. Seahawks laying 6.5. The over-under is 53. Seahawks coming off a disappointing home loss against the Ravens. Falcons coming off that really bad loss against the Rams in which Matt Ryan got hurt. So Ryan's obviously not healthy, so there's a chance Matt Schaub starts. So that's why Seattle giving 6.5 is an easy play here. It's one of my best 5 plays of the NFL weekend. And I think that Seattle wins this game by a score of 34 to, let's say, 20. Because I think that Julio and Devontae will get some points in fantasy-wise against that Seahawks defense. So 34-20 Seattle. Broncos at the Colts. Colts are giving 4.5. The over-under is 43. This one was tough for me to pick in terms of a side. The line keeps going in the direction of Denver. It opened at 6.5, and everyone and their brother is betting Denver. I'm going to take Denver getting the 4.5 here as well. Obviously, Denver's coming off that really bad loss against the Chiefs. Colts coming off the big division win against the Texans. I'm going to take the Broncos to cover, but the Colts to win by a score of 27-23. I think that Joe Flacco gets picked off late as the Broncos are trying to come back and take the lead. Jets at the Jaguars. Jaguars are giving 6. The over-under is 40.5. Jets are coming off the terrible loss on Monday Night Football against the Patriots. Jacksonville coming off the win at the Bengals. I like the Jets getting the 6. And not only that, I think they win the game outright. They're plus 250 on the money line. I think this is the underdog of the week. And I think the Jets win 24-20. Bounce back game for Sam Darnold and company after what just was a pathetic performance against the Pats. Buccaneers at the Titans. The Titans are giving 30. Over-under is 46. This was a tough one to pick too. I'm going to take the under here. I don't think either of these offenses are good, but their defenses aren't terrible either. I'm going to say the Bucs win 20-17. Bucs are plus 130 on the money line, so I do think the Bucs win the game, but I like the under 46 better. So 2017 Tampa Bay. Carolina at San Francisco. Now we're in the 4 o'clock window. San Francisco giving 6. The over-under is 42.5. Carolina coming off their bye 2 weeks ago. They played the Bucks. And by the way, the Bucks and the Panthers played each other last time 2 weeks ago in London. And then the Titans obviously are coming off that win over the Chargers. So that's another reason why I like the Bucks, because it's a letdown spot for them. 49ers coming off that messy game against the Redskins in which that tsunami storm went through there. I like the Panthers getting 6. That's one of my best plays of the weekend. Plus 220 on the money line. I think they win outright. Carolina wins 26-24. 425 CBS, Jim Nantz, Tony Romo on the call. Browns, Patriots. Browns coming off their bye-in 2 weeks ago. They lost against the Seahawks. Patriots coming off that big win over the Jets. I love the Patriots giving the 11.5. I love it even more now that Jarvis Landry guaranteed win. Because Landry guaranteed win, you always bet against teams or players or coaches that guarantee wins. I should have known last week with Doug Peterson, but Jason Garrett was on the other side, so I went with Peterson. But no, I'm not betting against the Patriots here. They're going to be motivated. They're going to put up a lot of points, so I like the over as well, but my main player is the minus 11.5, and I like that it went down from 12.5, and it's one of my best 5 plays of the weekend. Patriots win 38-17. Raiders, Texans. Raiders coming off that bad loss against the Packers, in which that game changed when Carr fumbled on the goal line. Texans are coming off a tough loss in division against the Colts in Indianapolis. I like the Texans to win the game on the field, but I love the over 51.5. I think both these teams are going to score. I'm going to say Houston wins 34-23. So give me the over 51.5, and that's one of my best plays of the weekend. Sunday Night Football, Green Bay at Kansas City. Green Bay's laying 3.5. The over-under is 48. There's rumors that Patrick Mahomes might be back for this game, so that's what makes me nervous with my pick. I'm taking the Packers minus the 3.5. They're obviously coming off the big win over the Raiders. Chiefs coming off that Thursday night game against the Broncos. But I just don't trust Matt Moore. That's what it comes down to for me. But even if Mahomes returns, he's going to look rusty. So give me the Packers minus 3.5, and that is the last of my best 5 plays of the weekend. I'm going to say Green Bay wins 30-16. And Monday Night Football, Dolphins, Steelers. Steelers laying 13.5. The over-under is 43. Dolphins coming off the loss against the Bills. They were somewhat competitive in that game, actually. Steelers coming off the game against the Chargers. I believe they're coming off a bye, so it's a logical spot to take the Steelers here, coming off their bye. You think Dalvin Hodges is starting again? I like the under here. Yeah, Fitzpatrick's look good, but the Steeler defense, to me, is starting to play better, too. So I'm going to say the Steelers win this game 26-13. Fitzmagic runs out in Pittsburgh. So give me the under 43 as my play here. But I like the Steelers to win the game on the field. World Series Game 3 tonight. Nationals host the Astros. Nationals are plus 130. Zach Greinke, Anibal Sanchez. The over-under's at 8. Zach Greinke in the playoffs and in big spots is not particularly good. And we saw that in the Yankee series. We saw that against the Rays. We'll see it again here. Everybody loves the Astros tonight. Not me. I'm taking the Nationals. I think they go up 3-0. Anibal Sanchez, I know there's a case to be made for some regression after the no-hitter bit. But I think that crowd's going to be ruckus. They're going to be going crazy there. Big games for Juan Soto and Anthony Rendon. Nationals get it done. They go up 3-0. And they're going to be on the verge of a sweep. So give me the Nationals to win the game on the field. And I'm really looking forward to this game tonight. Best bet of the day brought to you by DraftKings. College football will take SC. Do I feel super about it? No. But we're going to go with it anyway. These are just money lines. Hockey, anything I like here? I think that some of these underdogs have a legit chance to win outright, so I'm not going to touch hockey. I absolutely love the Celtics tonight against the Raptors. I'm going to take the Nets against the Knicks. I'm going to take Oklahoma City against the Wizards, although I think that's risky. I'm going to take the Nuggets tonight against the Suns. And that's it. So it's plus $2.91, wagering $1, payout of $3.91. That's it for the podcast today. I'll be back on Monday recapping the World Series. We'll see if it's still going on by the next time I do a podcast. All the football games from college and the NFL, NBA, NHL, and any other news that happens throughout the weekend. I hope you guys have a great weekend, everyone.